What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Friday, May 3rd, 2024, and we are here for the Friday evening live stream here on the Torian Rain Reloaded channel. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit that share button. I would greatly appreciate it. Shout out to all of the people who are members of this channel, everybody on Patreon, everybody in the chat currently so far, everyone who follows me on Instagram, Twitter, Discord, all of that good stuff. I'm glad that you are all here with me this evening. It's currently 43 people in here. Please be sure again to go ahead and hit that like button. We have a very interesting stream this evening. But before I go any further into that, let me go ahead and acknowledge the people who are here so far in the chat. We have Hacksign KT, Denise Scales, Till Dog 12, Bills Fan 1970, English Overstreet, The Anti-Sheep, DeMarcus Vaughn, Weldon Johnson, Chris Vesey, and shout out to Janesta for kicking off the super chat with the 5. She said, happy weekend, everyone. I appreciate it. We have Zavon Scott, Derek Parker, Shamika Gray, Dewani Nelson, and Tawana Cook here so far. Again, shout out to anyone else who's going to be coming into the chat this evening. So this stream right here, as y'all can see by the title, it says Anti-Blackness in Old School Mainstream Song Lyrics. And the reason why I'm doing this particular stream today is because another YouTuber and a subscriber of mine actually reached out to me and said that they had wanted to have this discussion with me from a live stream that I did. I think it was definitely before my trip. And I said, sure, when I get back from my trip, we can definitely go ahead and set that up. And we are here today. So like I said, this stream was not, my idea, but you know what? I don't think I've talked about this on my channel. So I said, sure, why not? So this person that I'm bringing up, this is their first time on my channel, but I have a feeling that, after the vibes and everything like that, this most likely won't be their last time on the channel as well. So make sure y'all go ahead and throw some black fists in the chat for Big Chase. What's going on, brother?
Hey, bro, what's going on, man?
I'm doing great. I'm glad that you were able to be on here this evening so we can have this discussion on a topic that you brought my way. And I said, let's go ahead and actually chop it up and talk about this.
Hey, listen, man, listen, you are a permanent fixture on our platform. I felt like it's only right that we throw some love your way, man. You always bring so much to our side of the world. Let's throw some sunshine back to my brother and whatnot, man. You've been, in our corner from day one. So, we definitely had to bring something to your side.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, you was in my chat a couple weeks ago, and you had reached out to me and said that you had wanted to do this as a topic, and I said, sure, why not? And I'm glad that I'm actually able to have you on the channel because people have seen me collab with other people before, but they are people that they're familiar with them and everything like that. But before we actually really get into it, since people really don't even know who you are over here, let them know, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so it's Big Chase, man. Listen, I am one of the co-founders of the Man Cave 101 podcast. We are live Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all the usual places and whatnot. We talk about nerdy and blurty news, celebrity gossip, movie streaming, anything cool and nerdy. We cover it and whatnot. We have a lot of fun. You can pull up, grab yourself a drink and get in with the fellas, check out our channel and whatnot. It's pretty cool. Shout out to my cohorts in crime, AA Ron, the man in the chair and whatnot. Number one BS guy, Kalo K, and my man Win Deezy, and my bro, Speak on It Comics, Charles and whatnot.
Yeah. And I have been on their channel before. As a matter of fact, you had reached out to me one time before and asked me could I had share my platform with y'all one time before last year, and I'm constantly over there. I was actually over there yesterday, talking about X-Men 97. But yeah, I'll leave the link to their channel down in the chat. Definitely check out their content, especially if y'all are definitely into that. I'm sure y'all are going to feel the vibes. And since I'm like over, listen, y'all know if I'm co-signing it, y'all already know the deal.
Listen, man, we feel blessed that you even listen. For those that don't know, Torian Rain co-signed us when we started. We didn't. He was like the only one in the chat room for like 3 or 4 weeks and whatnot. We were like, yo, who this kid's doing? He keep coming back. Like, yo, but, he brought energy that allowed us to grow to now over 2,000 subscribers, man. So again, he's a brother and he's a permanent fixture on our platform. So it just is what it is.
Right. All right, so now that we got all of that good stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the topic at hand. So you actually bought, to my attention, a lot of songs. Now, for myself, I was born, of course, pretty much at the tail end of the 80s. So a lot of the songs that you did bring my way predate me. They were around, of course, more so when my parents were most likely in their late teens, because a lot of these songs, a lot of them came from like the 70s. But a lot of the songs that were put out there back then, I would say they didn't really have that much of a hidden message in them. Like, they were really overt with them, but because I guess they had such an appeal, they gravitated towards the masses. And because they came from people who were already established, and it's not like these were brand new artists, right, people gravitated toward them a whole lot more.
Yeah. The irony is that a lot of these songs, when they were written, were actually meant to bring light to kind of a social conscious type of thing. But as usual, the masses, once they get a hold of something, kind of do their own thing with it. And unfortunately, the way that a lot of them were written, the social conscious part of the message just kind of like got lost into the music. So now you have people who come after the 70s and the 80s that have grown up with these songs and party to these songs for 10 and 20 years, singing these lyrics. And a lot of these songs, believe it or not, when you hear them, you're just like, oh yeah, I love that song. But you never paid much of attention to the lyrics because of the way that they were sung.
Right. You kind of got lost in the melody.
Yeah.
Which is very easy to do, even with songs today. Like, even today, that's very easy to do. And I think that's kind of the point to an extent.
Yeah.
But you had sent me you had sent me like a couple of songs. You had told me to look up the lyrics, and immediately it's like they kind of hit you over the head with them. So to those in the chat who are of a certain age, I'll just put it that way, y'all probably most likely have heard these songs before. So the first song that we're gonna talk about is called "Island Girl" by Elton John. And if you're in the chat, I'm gonna try to see if y'all can be more have y'all more engaged. So if y'all have heard of the song "Island Girl" by Elton John, leave a 1 in the chat. If you have not heard of this song, put a 2. So I have the lyrics pulled up for the song "Island Girl" by Elton John. And the lyrics read in the first part says, "I see your teeth flash, Jamaican honey so sweet, down where Lexington cross 47th Street. Oh, she's a big girl. She's standing 6'3", turning tricks for the dudes in the big city." So just looking at that part right there, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, again, and this is actually a song about what it's about. A Jamaican girl living in New York City, was turning tricks on the corner and whatnot. But then when you get to the chorus, the chorus says, "Brown sugar, how come you taste so good?" Brown sugar just like a young girl should.
And even not even all the way to the chorus, even the next part where it says, "Island girl, what you wanting with the white man's world? Island girl, black boy wants you in his island world."
Oh yeah. Listen, the crazy thing, like I said before, is that a lot of these songs were originally, especially Elton John, coming out of the alphabet community, probably really felt like people would hear the conscious side of the music. But I think, again, I know I've listened to this song, I don't even know how many times, and I never really paid attention to it. So I know people who are of a lighter conscious mode definitely, just heard music, didn't hear anything else.
Yeah. And the thing is, like the note, which you'll notice, like I said, is because a lot of these songs are coming from like big artists from back in the day. It's the fact that these type of songs got mainstream success. Like these are all songs that charted on the
Oh, yeah.
Billboard charts
Oh,
because
no,
they got a lot. They got a lot of radio play.
that's a fact. Listen, Island Girl entered Billboard Hot 100 in 1975 at the 49 slot. So it's number 49 on the Hot 100 on Billboard.
Did it move?
And
Did it move any? Did it go any higher than that, or just it peaked there?
it topped out the top 100 in 4 weeks.
So it went to number one.
It went to number one from 49 to 1 in 4 weeks.
That's quite a jump. That's a leap. That's a huge leap. That means it got played a lot. It got requested to be played a lot, and it did get played a lot, pretty much almost everywhere.
Yeah,
and Elton John back in the day got a lot of airplay on R&B stations.
Yeah, listen, everybody gravitated. Elton John was one of those artists that the music kind of flowed from the pop side to parts of the R&B circuit and whatnot. Just had that groove and that sound. And so it was getting a lot of play, and plus at that time, like Elton John's name was really ringing bells. So this is like when Beyonce drops something, it's going to get played. Like they don't really have to promote it, but at the end of the day, so yeah, he was big at that point.
And I noticed also throughout the lyrics, it keeps saying the line over and over again, "What you wanting with the white man's world." It even goes and mentions it like 3 times towards the end. It just doesn't put world at the end, just says, "Tell me what you wanting with the white man's."
Yeah. So when you hear, for those that have never heard of it, man, go on YouTube and pull it up and listen to it. So a lot of these are ad libs. So when you hear him kind of saying it over again, it's riffs and stuff like that. And this is again why the lyrics seem to get kind of suppressed and hidden in the melody. You get lost in the groove of what you're saying and whatnot. But again, this came out in 75. Elton John
almost 50 years ago. It'll be 50 next year.
Yeah, and Elton John stopped performing this song somewhere in the 90s. They never gave any actual explanation, but they was just kind of understood that it was just kind of inappropriate, I guess, and whatnot. And so they kind of dropped it from the list and whatnot.
Like I was telling you before we went live, they probably noticed, people started to notice something. They started to like really listen to the lyrics. They was like, oh, and that's why a lot of people like to pull up lyrics and read them rather than having the production behind it, because you'll get lost in that. It's very easy to get lost in that. But when you pull the lyrics up and just like really read them, it's like, wow, they said all of that and we didn't pick up on it.
Yeah, listen, it's so easy to slide past lyrics, in music, because you're just so caught up in that groove and that drum and the particular melodies that are going on. And I mean, to the point where you could be saying something bad about your own self and it just sounds so great, you just don't care.
Exactly. Listen, that's the story for a lot of current music. And when I say current, I don't even mean necessarily songs that come out like in the last year. It can be songs that came out in the last 2 decades.
Listen, it's the truth, man. Listen, there's a certain R&B artist who we won't name, who's extremely popular and probably one of the top artists. And the truth of the matter is that when he was doing a lot of things that he was doing and he was making great music, nobody cared. His actions did not start to become a problem until the music stopped. And that's just a weird but surreal type of thing that goes on with this music.
Right. All right, y'all. So that was Island Girl by Elton John. So now we're going to move on to the next song, which is Brown Sugar by the Rolling Stones.
Right. So I don't think
this one hit me over the head immediately, because they came out swinging in that first verse. Like it was blatantly obvious. To those in the chat, leave a 1 in the chat if you've heard of this song. Put a 2 if you have not.
Listen, I don't think anybody over, I'm going to say anybody over 20
Mm-hmm.
can say that they've never heard this
Yeah.
song.
Yeah,
Um,
I looked at my analytics, and a lot of my demographic are people who are like in, like, I would say like their mid 30s and up. So I
mhm,
do have a so I would say I have a good significant of people of wisdom in my chat, and it's usually the ones that's leaving the ones.
right,
The ones who are leaving the ones are the ones who were around when these songs were new. The ones who's
right,
leaving the two are probably, not born yet, probably somewhere around my age.
right, right. Well, Brown Sugar is one of those kind of hip rock songs that catches everybody. It's infectious,
Yeah.
the chorus and all of that. And it's one of those songs that you're so busy singing the chorus that you actually completely don't even know what the other lyrics are. You might have kept like the first four words when the song
Mm-hmm.
started, and then after that, you kind of like and then brown sugar, and you have no idea what's being said in between.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, literally right here in the first words, it says Gold Coast slave ship bound for cotton fields. When I saw that, I think I had replied back to you on Instagram. I said, "Yeah, we gotta talk about this one." And this is sold in the market down in New Orleans. Skydog slaver know he's doing all right. Hear him whip the women just around midnight.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out what they're talking about.
right, right. Um, so this again goes back to what I was saying before about songs like this were actually meant to bring awareness to you know slavers and the injustice of slavery. But again, you're just caught up so much in the groove of this song that the social conscious part of this record is completely lost on you and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Everybody knows brown sugar. How come you say so? But ask people what the lyrics are. Unless
Mm-hmm.
you are of a certain age and had this record for 30, 40 years in your psyche, you have no idea. And even with some of those people have no idea what's being
And
said.
not only that, when he's saying brown sugar, how come you taste so good? And then he says brown sugar just like a young girl should. The fact that he said young girl, yeah.
So
He didn't say young lady or young
the
woman. He
woman,
said, yeah, he said young girl.
yeah,
So immediately in my mind, I'm thinking he's talking about someone who's not legal, a minor.
listen, young girl is young girl, especially back then.
See,
You know,
and shout out to, I don't mean to cut you off, but shout out to
yeah,
Deneen in the chat. She says, I never realized these were the lyrics singing about slaves being violated.
it's a
See, and
fact.
like that's why we said it's very easy to get lost in those songs, and that's why we're doing this stream, because for the people who, and that's why I asked if people have heard these songs before, and now you're like, wow, I didn't even realize the song was saying this, because again, it's very easy to get lost in the melody, the
Mm-hmm,
production. Once you hear that beat, because the thing is, they get you with the beat first, depending on what type of song it is, and then they hit you with the words, and you don't realize what you're singing. And a lot
mm-hmm.
of times, that's what songs are meant to actually do.
Yeah. And these songs are stylized. Like when you listen to Brown Sugar, it's a stylized song. So they're not just like, oh, you know, go co. You get the first four words, and then it's kind of like and but all you know is brown sugar, and you get caught up in that piece. And kind of going back to what you were saying, if you go a little bit further down,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see it says, "Now I bet your mama was a tent show queen, and all her boyfriends were sweet 16. I'm no schoolboy, but I know what I like. You should have heard them just around midnight."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, but I guarantee you 50% of the people in your chat had
Right, they
no
probably heard it,
idea.
but didn't even know. And even right here, and finally, once we finally realized that now he's talking about a black girl, because right here he goes from saying young girl to brown sugar just like a black girl should. So he drops the young and
Mm-hmm,
replaces it with black. So now they're being specific. They're not, when they're
mm-hmm,
saying young, it's being very vague, because that could be any race of woman they're talking. Well, not really, not when they talk about Gold Coast,
right.
but now you've become very specific when you said black
Oh
girl.
yeah. Well, listen, I don't know many other ethnicities they call brown sugar, but okay,
Hmm.
So yeah.
And it almost sounds very fetishizing.
Oh, listen, this whole song especially is completely fetish, bro. It's
Hmm.
completely. Again, when you read up on it, um, they really were trying to bring awareness to to the slave movement and what was going on, slavers but again, this is where when people get their hands on it, you cannot control the way that they use it and the way that they absorb it. The
Hmm.
song,
Yeah.
but the entire song is completely fetishizing. And this particular song, um, this came in at number 16 on Billboard in 1971.
Hmm.
It is marked as number 495 out of the 500 greatest songs of all time by Billboard in 2010 and came in number 490 in 2004. So when you say fetishizing, it absolutely is.
Yeah. You can definitely see that. All right, y'all. So that was Brown Sugar by the Rolling Stones, and we're going to move right along to this song called Lola by the Kinks. Now, I find it very interesting that the name of the group is called the Kinks, and they're talking about a woman named Lola. So it's like, okay.
So we kind of have a joke on the man cave where we say we don't kink shame.
Right. Yeah.
But this one was interesting for me because this is one of those weird songs that you expect to kind of hear on a cartoon. One of those
Hmm.
catchy songs that you heard on a cartoon and you never forgot them.
Hmm.
And I kept trying to remember if I heard it before I went and looked up the lyrics again. And I was like, I don't remember it, but the melody sounds so familiar. But when you start reading through it, you're like, wait a
Hmm.
minute.
Yeah. All right. So the first verse says, I met her in a club down in Old Soho where you drink champagne and it tastes just like Coca Cola. Cola, Cola. She walked up to
Mm-hmm.
me and she asked me to dance. I asked her name, and in a dark brown voice, she said, Lola, 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 Lola.
Right. So yeah, so
And we and we
again,
and we can pretty much tell when he said dark brown voice.
yeah, so he at this point, you're really again, when you see them spelling it out, there's a melody there. So this is
Yeah, I kind of
riffing and
yeah, I kind of figured that.
yeah. Um, but continue.
Okay,
There's more.
all right, so it says, "Well, I'm not the world's most physical guy, but when she squeezed me tight, she nearly broke my spine." So I'm assuming Lola's a big girl, a big woman. Is that
Mm-hmm.
what they're trying to say? Imply?
Yeah. Keep going.
And it says, "Well, I'm not dumb, but I can't understand why she walks like a woman and talks like a man." So now they're trying to say that she's masculine.
I mean, there's a lot of ways to read into that. At the end of the day, um, first of all, if you are from New York or have been to New York, Soho,
Oh,
especially,
oh, 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 oh! I get it now. I get it now. I know what you're
yeah,
talking about. When you said Soho, I
yeah.
know exactly where you were
So
headed with that one.
as soon as I saw Soho, I kind of already. I'm from New York, so as soon as I saw Soho, and I'm looking at the time era alone, I already knew where this was probably going to go. Soho is one of those areas in New York City that was kind of known for alphabet community activity, if you will,
Yeah.
um, and alternative lifestyle was kind of prevalent down there.
Hmm.
Um, so again, when I first saw Soho, I was like, okay, I already know where this is going.
Hmm.
Um, but again, you got to go take a minute, go check it out on YouTube. And again, this song is so dope.
Oh well, hold on. Wait a minute. I think I found something interesting right here where it says, "Well, that's the way I wanted to stay, and I always wanted to be that way for my Lola. Girls will be boys, and boys will be girls. It's a mixed up, muddled up, shook up world, except for Lola."
Yeah. So, and I mean, basically he's kind of saying like, everybody else is still trying to figure out who they are, but Lola has has no problem with it. She's accepted who he, she, whatever it is.
Sounds like this sounds like a song that could have been on the soundtrack for that movie, The Crying Game.
Oh, it's a fact. This probably would have been like the lead track.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, just one of those songs that slipped by, and again, it's a great song. I can't lie. It's a great song. It's a funky little weird ass musical song. When you hear it, you're gonna be like, "Yo, this is weird as shit," but I like it. But it just is what it is. It just is what it is.
All right, y'all. And I saw some people, they had, when I clicked the song, people started already dropping the ones in the chat because they saw that, and when I said it, they already knew what the song was. So that was Lola by the Kinks.
Kinks.
What eight, man, what a title. What a title. Hey, man.
And just this now, Lola came in at number 9. It doesn't say what year, but it came in at number 9 on the UK singles chart on the Billboard Hot 100. So
this thing,
this thing was getting spins.
Yeah, back in 1970. Sheesh.
Yeah, this thing was getting spins.
All right. So the next song we have is Into the Night by Benny Martinez or Martinez.
Yeah, Benny Mardones, I think.
Mardones. I don't know why I read that as a E. Mardones.
Yeah. Leo's like Drake
in 1980. Right. Right. Released in 1980. So this is the first song so far that we've gotten on this list that is not in the 70s. This is, well, I mean, shoot it. Depending on when the album was released, it was probably recorded in 79, but it was released in 1980. Leave a 1 in the chat if you've heard of this song, for a 2 if you have not. I don't think I've ever heard, well, I didn't hear the Kinks either. I heard of the Rolling Stones and of course Elton John, but I never heard of this artist right here.
I'm pretty sure, and this is again one of those things that you probably heard the song, but you probably never knew the artist, and you probably never knew the name.
Right.
A lot of these songs are backgrounds for a lot of movies, especially coming through that time period of 70s, 80s, early 90s. So when you get a chance to go look at it, listen to it on YouTube, you're gonna be like, I heard that song, but you had no idea what you were even listening to.
Right. All right. So the first part reads, it says she's just 16 years old. Leave her alone, they said. Separated by fools who don't know what love is yet, but I want you to know. Already I'm getting creepy vibes.
Yo, keep going.
If I could fly, I'd pick you up. I'd take you into the night and show you a love like you've never ever seen. It's like having a dream where nobody has a heart. It's like having it all and watching it fall apart. And I would wait till the end of time for you and do it again. It's true. I can't measure my love. There's nothing to compare it to, but I want you to know. If I could fly, I'd pick you up. I'd take you into the night and show you a love. Oh, if I could fly, I'd pick you up. I'd take you into the night and show you a love like you've never, ever seen.
So, the background story is there's kind of like 2 stories supposedly about how this came about. Both of them kind of center around a platonic, supposedly, relationship with a 16-year-old neighbor of Benny Mardones, who at one story says that she used to walk his dog, and he used to partner with a gentleman named Robert Tepper back in the day, and apparently Robert Tepper, in my view, in my opinion, must have saw something that made him question what was going on, because it says that he made a comment or an inappropriate comment to Benny about the 16-year-old. The other story is that apparently this 16-year-old used to kind of be around the studio or something and used to carry his guitar and whatnot, which also, kind of gave people questions. So somewhere in there, this song got made based off of that. So you you can decide for yourself, what you think.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
lyrics
I'm
are
looking.
kind of out there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking at the chat right now, and Soul Education says she never believed that story. So apparently, she heard that story too, and she said, "I never believed that story."
Yeah. I don't know. Listen, inspiration comes from a strange place. I'm a creator. I get it. Um, I just don't know that I would have ever consented to make a song with these lyrics, especially being so very specific about things like age and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And then think if I could fly, I'd pick you up into the night and take you into the night. If that ain't Uncle Creepy, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, show you a love like you've never seen. You're gonna
Right.
sweep up a 16-year-old, take her. And I
Mm-hmm.
think at this point, Benny Mardones is around 33 or something like that. Um, it's just Uncle Creepy for me, but what do I know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any platinum plaques on my wall, so
Where did this song land at as far as like Billboard goes?
so Into the Night, um it peaked at number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100. Um but it went platinum.
Mm.
And you're talking 1980, where uh gold was kind of like where everything was. So everybody was trying to go gold. This went platinum, and this, mind you, this was on an album of his.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it was Never Run, Never Hide. But yeah, this song went platinum at a
Shoot, the
time.
title of the album sounds creepy too, just based on the song called "Never Run, Never Hide." What in the world is going on here?
Bro, listen. If you start listening, you listen. When you start connecting some of these lyrics with some of these artists, it'll make you think twice about all of them. It's guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
guaranteed. But yeah, I agree. I'm like, Never Run, Never Hide. Let me take you into the night. Sweet 16. Like, just a lot of red flags over here for me.
Right. All right, so so this is gonna be the last song right here that we're gonna go over, and I intentionally saved this one for last
I know you would.
because I intentionally saved this one for last because I think many of us in here have probably heard about this, but there are some that did not. So the last one I wanted to talk about was the origins of the ice cream truck song. Put a one in the chat if y'all are aware about this, and put a
Yeah.
two if this is like smacking you over the face, like you didn't know about it
Yeah.
until just right now.
Yeah.
I knew about it. I knew about it. And the thing is, the ice cream truck is not the only song that
Yeah.
has that type of origin story.
Yeah. And we're talking about the Mr. Softy ice cream that inspired Eddie Murphy's stand up in the 80s and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
about ice cream. Um, so this one escaped me, Tori, and believe it or not, I'm pretty much up on everything. I became aware of this maybe about 10 years ago. I'm
Yeah.
like, I have no idea how this escaped me, but it did. But a friend of mine one day shot me a link on it, and I was looking at it like, what the heck is this? And then
Yeah.
when I played it, I was like, holy shit. So funny story is, we have a Mr. Softy ice cream that used to come around in the summertime here. And I was talking to one of my neighbors about it, and he said, yeah, he had found out about it too. And just as we're talking, Mr. Softy comes around the corner. So, uh, and we know him. He's an older guy. I think he's Polish or Ukrainian or something like that. We know him, and so we stopped the truck and we talked to him. And I said, let me ask you a question. I said, when they the music on there. He said, where'd you get it from? And he said, oh, I guess he pays like a license or something, and when he leases the truck. And I said, what did they tell you the name of the song was? And he said it was something like Honey Bear Adventure or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's not really the name of the song. So I let him listen to the video and the lyrics, and he just looked at me like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. I said, listen, we don't hate you or anything, but I need you to not play that song when you come down my block. Like,
Right.
seriously. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, if this was a song that was like, kind of defiling your ethnic background and I came down your street, like how far would I get playing it loud and
Hmm.
whatnot?
Yeah.
Um, and the irony too is that so many people of African American descent know about this thing and just ignore it, which is just
Yeah, because
crazy to me.
I'm looking at the article right here, and it said Viola Davis was the one that had posted something up, and she broke down the lyrics of the song, and the name of the song is called "Nigga Love a Watermelon Ha Ha Ha." Like
Yeah.
that's the original title of the song.
Hmm.
And they said the song was originally recorded by a man named Harry C. Brown and
Yeah.
released in 1916, according to the Smithsonian. However, the song stole its melody from an early 19th century tune called Turkey in the Straw, which is the song's more commonly known name now. The
Right.
original melody was brought to America's colonies by Scottish and Irish immigrants who settled along the Appalachian Trail, and that they added lyrics that mirrored of what was happening in their lives. In Brown's version, the lyrics changed to feature racial slurs for and stereotypes about Black people. Not only that, but the original art with the song featured racist stereotype. Even the graphics for the song, it said a big lit black face, Black American doing dancing a jig, and then in the
Hmm.
video it says it had a huge piece of watermelon and a Black American male enjoying the watermelon. It says went as far as to say that watermelon is the Black man's ice cream.
Yeah. So in the very beginning of the song, there's like a little skit, and it kind of goes. It says, "Hold up, Jackson, time to cut a watermelon. You ends quit throwing them bones and come down and get your ice cream." And then all the black men say ice cream, and then he says, "Yes, ice cream, colored man's ice cream, watermelon." And then they start the music.
Mm-hmm.
And then the beginning of the lyrics is that he went down to Coonville the other afternoon and saw a yellow girl named Susie Loon. She was sitting on the rail with the fields to her back, eating watermelon to make that in fat. She says, "I'm Susie dear. Would you give your heart to me? I can keep 100 boys busy, don't you see?" The juice from the watermelon trickled down her chin. I said, "If you give me 100, I will tell you this." And then it comes in. In loves a watermelon, ha 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 ha. In loves a watermelon, ha 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 ha. For here they're made with a half a pound of coal. There's nothing like a watermelon for a hungry coon. So, you know,
Yeah. And like
I mean,
and like we
listen,
was and like we was talking to like when we was talking about yesterday about how with the Looney Tunes, like how they had Bugs Bunny
oh yeah,
in blackface like
oh yeah,
way back in the
yeah,
day, like
yeah,
probably like in our grandparents and maybe even great grandparents time.
oh yeah.
So we're not surprised by this, considering they said it was released in 1916. I
1916,
mean,
yeah,
you
yeah,
talking about
a whole different climate, man.
you talking about pretty much a century plus
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, yeah. It was a whole different climate when this came out, and when it was being circulated. Um, but again, the irony that the music of it and the melody attached to it has survived, because if Mr. Softy comes around, they're still playing this melody.
Yeah.
This song's still playing. Even though now, depending on where you live, some of them are playing like Jay-Z and all that, but
Hmm.
Mr. Softy, this is still considered the ice cream song. Um,
Yeah. And the same thing like I was also telling y'all yesterday about the song 12 Monkeys Jumping on the Bed, and how we know that the monkeys was really an allegory for something else. And it wasn't, and the word used wasn't monkey. It was
it's a
some, it was
fact.
we know what word that was. I think most of
Yeah,
us pretty much know about that
yeah,
one.
yeah. Listen,
But a lot of those nursery rhymes, that we heard as kids growing up, a lot
yeah.
of them do have a lot of anti-black tropes to them. It's just that they rework them and reword them because they used like, oh, we don't think that's going to thrive today. But they were probably banking that nobody was going to go back and research that stuff either.
I think the amazing thing for me is that when they make this stuff, they always find infectious melodies and tunes that people don't want to let go. Like most of these, even the five little monkeys jumping on the bed, one fell off. Like that little melody is something that people don't want. They love that melody, and kids are so easy to grasp. And meanwhile,
Yeah.
it's attached to a message that is so evil.
Yeah, and like even people in the chat are saying about with the national anthem, we only hear the part that gets sang at sporting events and whatnot. But when you pull up the lyrics for the national anthem and read the entire song, it's literally talking in some of those stanzas about slavery.
Yeah, well, I just want to say that I'm not surprised since the author of that actually has been quoted as saying, "Let there be no haven for the African on these shores or any other." So there you go.
Mm, yeah, but yeah,
So
y'all. Oh, you about to say something else?
no, I was just saying. So there you have it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm about to say we about to say the same thing. But yeah, y'all, that was pretty much it. Like I said, this wasn't gonna be a long stream because it wasn't that many songs. But the thing is, it's so many more songs out
Yeah.
there than the ones that we went over. Some of y'all were dropping some down there right in the chat. Like that's why I was asking people to let me know if y'all heard these songs before. And when y'all was saying I heard these songs before, but I never really caught it. I never caught the lyrics like that until now. And when you break them down like that, because again, and I'm not surprised because that's typically that's the common ear. They like, oh, they're not going to really read the lyrics like that. They're going to by the time they hear it, they're already going to be hooked and they're not going to realize what they're singing. That's why I put in the thumbnail, singing between the lines.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it
Yeah,
was perfect title, bro. Absolutely perfect title.
yeah. But anyway, y'all, that's pretty much going to bring this stream to a close. Again, Chase, I'm glad that you brought this to my attention and you were and that we were able to collab on this particular topic. Because like I said, I don't think I talked about this myself on here, but I think we should definitely do something like this again in the future, maybe with something else, maybe like with film.
Yeah,
That
listen.
that would be a very that would, as a matter of fact, I actually kind of touched on that a little bit on my old channel with various videos, and to do
Okay.
one stream about it, that would be dope.
Listen, listen. I'm with it. You know how to reach me. We will figure it out, and we'll bring it to the people. No problem at all.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And like I said to those in the chat, I'm gonna leave the link to the Man Cave 101 podcast channel. I'm a frequent visitor over there. Is
No, okay.
I think I'm like an unofficial panel
First,
member.
let's be clear. Torian is not a visitor. He is an honorary member and brother on my platform. So he's being modest right now. He has the keys to the building. He can come in just about any time he wants to, and and we happy to have him.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I'm like I said, I'm glad you came over here. But like I said, I'll leave the link to their channel down. I'll probably pin it down below. So for those of y'all who will catch the playback, y'all will be able to see it and go over there and check their content out. Doing great and amazing things over there. We are about to get up out of here. Shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out to everybody that contributed to the channel. Janesta Coleman and DSB, I appreciate it. I haven't checked the Cash App yet, but if anyone did hit the Cash App, I appreciate that as well. Make sure y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll be back tomorrow with the 11 a.m. premiere video, and it's also going to be another evening live stream tomorrow evening on Saturday, as y'all can tell. That being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. Be safe and be one.
Peace.